the tension between these two countries over this specific issue, tech. Where's this heading, Leland?
Well, a lot of it depends on whether or not we see the trade deal last through the election. That's holding a lot of this back. But on the tech side specifically, the problem is the White House wants to do something. It wants to take ownership of the issue. It wants to push back on some very legitimate national security issues related to TikTok and related to WeChat, but it hasn't really fleshed them out. I mean, it's not an accident that we saw a 45-day kick out on any action on TikTok and WeChat. Particularly when you're talking about WeChat, they just don't know how to pull it back to restrict parts of it and not dramatically hurt U.S. companies like Apple and others who use the WeChat e-payment operation for huge chunks of their sale. So they haven't really thought this through. They want to be aggressive, but the jury's still out on which direction they're going to go on this.
Which direction they're going to go on this? Does this mean that you expect them to pull it back? Does this just imagine? Do you expect that they're going to put provisions within the ban that allow the companies like Apple to sell WeChat on their iStore, Apple Store? Was it iStore? I like that.
Yeah, look, I think TikTok should have a sale. I think that could end this if you see a sale within the coming weeks. I think that's very likely. WeChat's a much more difficult issue, and I think that the chances are that you see a broad-based, aggressive solution is very low. I think there's a chance that this thing gets kicked out past the election. They're going to have to do something, but there are plenty of remedial actions from CFIUS and others in which they can sort of tweak things at the margins. The more they're getting into this issue, the more they realize that they don't understand the second and third order effects. So they want the political oomph from doing a big, broad anti-China action, but they're not prepared for the fallout. So I think it'll be less than people expect.
Headline cross on a Bloomberg, Leland. Let me bring it to you that India is said to be poised to ban Huawei and ZTE from 5G network trials. This is not just about the United States and China, Leland. It's about China and a whole host of countries. How are they handling this right now? And do you think President Xi has pushed things a little bit too far?
Yeah, I think that they're handling this about as poorly as you could possibly handle this issue. One of the mistakes people make is thinking that Huawei and ZTE are just another Chinese company or two. They're not. There are five. Huawei in particular is the Chinese semiconductor champion in terms of building out 5G. And so you have an enormous national security issue where countries are now becoming aware of just how dangerous it might be to integrate Huawei into all of their new next generation telecommunications. The U.S. has been pushing on this, but it wasn't until China really antagonized the entire universe during and in the aftermath of their COVID hit that countries are really taking notice on this. So this is something in which Xi Jinping, I think, has overplayed his cards. This is just going in the wrong direction for China. It's a real problem because they're not going to be able to pull this back if Huawei gets cut off.